Hello, good morning, everyone, and I'm back. My name is Marilyn, for those who haven't seen our interviews, and I'm the founder and CEO of Customized Training Solutions, or CTS Private Limited, and we are passionate about helping leaders and organizations transform and thrive by co-creating a customized program with the help of our world-class resources. And why our clients choose us and what makes us different is because we provide world-class experts with a well combination of practical and training experience. Of course, our customer centricity, passion, and unreserved attention and responsiveness to our clients. And of course, we also tailor a lot of experiential programs, which we co create with clients and partners to ensure cost efficiency, relevance, and impact. Our client includes Petronas, Sony Mobile, PruLife UK, Ayala Group, Chevron, Tencent, Jollibee Foods Corporation, and Shell, just to name a few. And today, it's my great pleasure to be able to introduce and to interview Eugene Seah. He is an ex-corporate zombie who lost his passion for his job, then found his passion for life when he lost his job in 2013. From 2013 to 2016, he went through deep financial hardships and somehow managed to become even stronger through his process or this process. Through this unique speech titled The Antifragile Mindset, which he's going to speak about in our upcoming summit, he will explain how it makes perfect sense to welcome stress into our life and, more importantly, the exact methods to turn stress and uncertainty into strength and growth. Eugene is a TEDx speaker, a global keynote speaker, and a renowned life coach. So, without so much further ado, I'd love to bring in Eugene. Hi, Eugene.
Hello, Marilyn. Wow, very good to see you.
It's my pleasure to see you today, and thank you so much for taking time to have this interview out of your very busy schedule, for sure.
Happy to.
Thank you, and happy Chinese New Year to you and your family as well. I believe you're still continuously celebrating. It's a month thing, right?
Yeah. Every day visiting one family. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay. So there's a difference now on how you actually celebrate Chinese New Year as well with all the restrictions, right?
Very limited. Yeah. Only 8 people.
Oh, yes, yes, I've heard. Okay, anyway, we'll
Yeah.
jump into the interview. Um, and again, it's my pleasure to have you here, and you're one of the best leaders I've known and leadership trainer as well. So please do share with us in terms of your leadership experience and influencer. So like what's your leadership style, experience, and who actually influence you to be the kind of leader you are right now?
Wow, very good question. First of all, I must say that I always had a misunderstanding of leadership. Since young. Yeah, because my relatives say I have good leadership skill. And when
Wow.
they say that, I think actually what they mean is I have good public speaking skill. Yeah, they sort of mix it up together. We tend to think of a leader as someone very charismatic, right? Someone like our dear Lee Kuan Yew, for example, someone on
Mm-hmm.
stage rallying
Mm-hmm.
people, and I've always done that since young.
Right.
Uh, Only after I grew up and I started working for the bank, and after I started running my own company, like you, for example, then I realized that that's not leadership skill.
Mm-hmm.
That is public speaking skill. That's the ability to go on stage and charm the audience. That's
Mm-hmm.
not leadership. It can get you votes, I think. That means if you
Mm-hmm.
are in election, I
Mm-hmm.
think people will vote for you because you're so charismatic. Yeah, but the actual running of a country, running of a company, running of a team is not about charisma.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about public speaking. And I realized that over time, especially in Hong Kong, I was based
Mm-hmm.
in Hong Kong, 2000. I'm now in Singapore and I'm born in Singapore, but
Mm-hmm.
I was in Hong Kong 2011 to 2014.
Mm-hmm.
I was the deputy head of the region for something called corporate access.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, wow, I have to manage people from Australia, from India, from South Korea. Wow, and I made a big mess, very big mess. Uh, and it was such a humbling process. I suddenly realized that I have to learn to listen. No, not talk, but
Mm-hmm.
listen. Which is so opposite of public speaker, right? Public speaker must charm the audience for 1 hour, 2 hours. But a good leader actually keeps quiet. A good leader listens to the team and learns to adapt to the style of the team. So I remember I had about 11 people under me in Hong Kong, and I have to learn. One person is very quiet. How do I engage the person when she's quiet? The other person is very like, wow, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then how do I help the person to grow and to be humble? You know, someone has very low self-esteem. How do I help the person to have higher, to believe in herself more? Then
Mm-hmm.
someone else is very arrogant. How do I get that person to learn and grow?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, wow, I have to constantly adapt my leadership style from very directive. For example, some people need your direction to being very consultative, which is some people really need to just brainstorm together with you. They appreciate that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, in short, I would say I've really grown a lot as a leader, especially in Hong Kong, and I'm very thankful for the experience of being, of failing, lah, almost, failing as a leader, so that I
Mm-hmm.
can grow as a leader. And to answer your question of who inspired me, uh, quite a number of people actually. When I was working in Singapore Stock Exchange, my CEO, wow, he was phenomenal, right? He's such a powerful guy in the finance industry, but he knows how to listen.
Mm-hmm.
He sat down with me and he asked me questions, say, Eugene, what do you plan to do for the next 10 years? And then as I share more and more, he listened. Yeah. And then he learned how to encourage. So he encouraged me to say, Eugene, I believe your potential is much more than what you are doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't believe him. I thought I've already reached my potential. I was doing marketing, I was doing public relations. He said, no, no, no. I want you to do more than that. I want you to engage investors, shareholders, fund managers, analysts. Wow. And I was so stressed because I didn't study finance. He encouraged me, right? And he said, I believe you can do it. If not, I would not have chosen you. Wow. So that gave me a lot of confidence. And I started learning, reading books, following him, to Hong Kong, to London, to New York. And that really helped me to learn that, wow, no matter how powerful you are, even the CEO of stock exchange, you also must learn to listen, to encourage, affirm, and adapt.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this answers your question.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Eugene. And I love that part when you say, as a leader, you have to know how to listen, be humble, and also believe in yourself and others.
Yes.
So, having said that, what is leadership for you if you have to define it?
Okay. I will tell you what leadership is not. Okay. Leadership is not public speaking. Leadership is not charisma. Right? Leadership is not giving direction, and leadership uh, is not a position like CEO or
Mhm.
vice president or deputy head. All these look like leadership. That's why a lot of people tend to think that leadership is a position, leadership is public speaking, leadership is charisma. Yeah, but leadership is not. Okay, to sum it up, leadership is a mindset. That means even a child, like your children, you have lovely children, I have lovely children. Our children can be leaders. They don't have to be prefect, counselor, class monitor, teacher. They can be leaders anytime they want to, as long as they have the mindset of a leader, which
Mhm.
means they have to proactively do something when something is needed to be done. Like for example, homework, right? If
Mhm.
she has homework to be done, she does the homework without people nagging. Then that's a leader. If
Mhm.
she's in class, someone being bullied, and she doesn't have to be instructed. The teacher don't have to say like, "Hey, you go and protect your friend." No, no need.
Mhm.
Person will bring it up from within her to protect the friend. Even without being a counselor or teacher. That is
Mhm.
a leader. And I've seen in the newspapers and around me many, many leaders who have
Mhm.
no position. They are very normal, ordinary. Like, I mean, if you look at newspapers, they are construction workers, right? Considered very low level in Singapore, very low social status. They go and save the baby, they climb up and save children, they help elderly cross the road in the rain. That is a leader. Whereas the CEO who is too
Mhm.
busy to help the elderly, to help the children, to do philanthropy, that's
Mhm.
not a leader. Like, I mean, for example, the notorious Donald Trump, just because he's the president does not make him a leader. I don't want to talk about politics, but I just very dislike him as a leader, right? He is a horrible, horrible person. Yeah, but the toilet cleaner, who picks up a wallet and returns it, who helps a child who fainted in the toilet. This is a leader. Yeah, so although maybe much poorer than Donald Trump, but much richer in character. So in essence, leadership is a positive mindset to take action to help people. That's a leader.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And that's a great piece, Leadership is a positive mindset to help others. At
Yes,
the end of the day, that's what we are, that's what our purpose is, to help others, right? To serve others.
yes.
Yes. So, um, so how would you define? I mean, nowadays a lot of things has evolved, has changed. Even how you celebrate your Chinese New Year, right? So, how would you define and describe the next normal?
How to describe the next normal? Okay, first of all, I would like to say that the changes were always there, even
Mm-hmm.
before COVID-19. Like for example, digitization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Globalization, automation. All these were always there. Yeah, but it was moving very slowly. For example, working from home. We could have worked from home decades ago, right? The internet, the invention of the internet is a huge breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
The moment we could do Skype, the moment we could email, everything we could work from home. But the company culture did not allow people to work from home,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like leaders, managers, let's not call them leaders, let's call them managers, right? Managers are so uptight. They are afraid that the people are not doing work if they're at
Mm-hmm.
home. They are probably cuddling their spouse, you know, playing with their children and not working. Yeah, so many people did not allow, like, for example, working mothers
Mm-hmm.
from home. They'll say, like, sorry, you have to resign. If you want to stay home with your children, you have to resign. If you want to work hard, then I'm sorry, go and hire a maid, take care of your
Mm-hmm.
children, ask your in-laws to help, then you have to come to office. It was so rigid and inflexible. But thank God for COVID-19, this work from home just like that, immediately. That's why
True,
I
I agree with you.
sorry, you agree with me, yeah.
Yes, yes.
I read on the internet that it is not the CEO, not the CFO, and not the CTO who has managed to change digitization. It's COVID-19.
Yes, and I think that's one of the silver lining that, COVID-19 has made us realize on in terms of, accelerating changes and even, breaking the unnecessary culture
Yes,
in
yes.
the working environment, right? So, having said that, what will it take to navigate this crisis now that, the usual traditional metrics and assumptions that have been rendered irrelevant?
Okay, I think first of all,
Mhm,
working from home is just a simple example, right?
mhm, mhm,
Uh, a slightly more complex example that will also answer your question
mhm,
is globalization.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, a lot of people are trying to hire locals. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all has laws so that we hire locals, right? The locals cost cheaper, lower. In fact, there's a quota to meet as well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but now with working from home and digitization,
Mm-hmm.
anybody from anywhere can do marketing for me. Right? There's completely no need to hire a local to do digital marketing for me. It's like it's weird. And there's no need to ask a local to design flyers for me, to create website for me. Like completely no need. No, in fact, you don't even need to call it employee. Right? You can be a one-man show. That
Mm-hmm.
means company payroll is only one director. That's it. Yeah, but your team can be a few hundred people strong. There's a PR team based in Philippines, right? There's a website development team based in Sri Lanka, and then there is the PR team based in China. It's up to you. You can run a global enterprise from your living room, and technology allows us to do so. Yeah, so it's just the mindset. Business owners, employers
Mm-hmm.
willing to engage outsiders,
Mm-hmm.
willing to outsource key functions. It's the willingness, it's the mindset, because the technology already allows for that.
Right. I totally agree with you. So it's all about the mindset and being open to these changes. I mean, globalization, digitalization has now been like easier for most people, right? Because of the technology that we have available.
Yeah, it's much, much easier. In fact, it's much cheaper also, cheaper. Because last time, in order to engage like internet and all that, you have to hire HP. HP probably have to second their team to sit in your office. It's very expensive, the whole thing. And now there are so many free apps. Like some are not free, some are a few dollars per month, like StreamYard that you're using right now, Zoom
Mhm.
that I use every day, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Learning, so many, like Canva.com, Fiverr.com. There are so many free on almost free websites, tools, and apps. And the phone, I mean, the phone is not free. I bought a very expensive phone called the iPhone 12. Yeah, but I mean, it sounds expensive because it's about 1,000 plus, right? But can you imagine you can run an entire business with $1,000 plus? That's cheap, isn't it? Most people will have to
Yeah.
pay $5,000, $6,000 rental every month or buy a franchise for $500,000. But now I'm running my whole business using a $1,000 phone.
Amazing, right? That's
Uh,
entrepreneurship, and like that gives more individuals opportunities as well to run their business because of the um availability of technology and a lot of tools everywhere, and at the same time the cost is also like, or the investment that you need to take is lower, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So but what are the important leadership you would say, I mean, leadership capabilities or skills that you must have to ensure that the next normal will continue, you will be able to continue to lead effectively during the next normal.
I feel that currently there are a lot of very good leaders, right? Just now I mentioned good listening skills, adaptation. I feel
Mhm.
that what is missing right now, the biggest missing piece
Mhm.
is creativity. A lot
Creativity.
of creativity.
Creativity, sorry.
A lot of leaders that I've been coaching
Mhm.
very low on creativity, and you can't really blame them because uh, we were very creative as a child. Every child is very creative, and the educational system in Asia, I'm sure
Mhm.
it's the same in Hong Kong, in Korea, in Philippines, and in Singapore, and even in China. The educational system kills creativity, right? It just completely wipes out any creativity a child has. When
Okay.
when a child goes to 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, there's still a bit left, maybe half the creativity left. I give you an example to be fair. So my son likes to write very innovative stories, like alien car, monster car, and then all sort of things. And the teacher said, "Can you please write normal things, not normal? Write about like going home from school, what happened on the road, what happened at home, what happened in the botanic garden. Not monster come down, alien come down, superhero. Like no, please don't write such things." And we all know how much Disney and Marvel earns. Can you imagine if Disney, Marvel write stories about children going home from school?
Totally agree. I mean, sometimes, education, the current education system restricts as well the creativity of children, right?
Yeah, and even in science, ironically, science
Mhm.
science should be the most creative, right? You have to be very inquisitive. I mean, if all our pioneers were not inquisitive, we wouldn't have the light bulb or the aeroplane or the cruise ship. All these things were born out of innovation and creativity.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yet, when our children in school ask questions, right?
Mhm.
They say, "Hey, why is this like that? Why is it like that? Hey, what if we change this? What if we change that?" And then the teacher said, "Hey, can you don't waste time? This is not in the curriculum." So that's very, very sad. Right. In English writing, not creative. In science, not creative. Wow, and don't even get me started on mathematics, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that's where, education has to keep up as well in terms of preparing the children to be more effective in terms of leading their life or their future career, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's one gap that, we need to fill to be able to provide children with what they really need in the future, right?
So that they become future creative leaders. And
Mm-hmm.
then the
True.
current leaders, of course, have a disadvantage because they are already in their 40s, 50s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they have to, I call it, have creativity hacks, HACK,
Mm-hmm.
creativity. And also, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to share one very simple creativity hack. And if
Mm-hmm.
anybody watching this, you can go and Google this. It's called
Okay.
Scamper. 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 Yeah, so adults already don't have time to go back to school again.
Mm-hmm.
So now they have to use Scamper to hack their creativity. So, for example, they might think like, hey, how do I increase profit and reduce costs? Right? Very simple. Every company leader wants to do that. And
Mm-hmm.
then they need to substitute something. The S stands for substitute. So let's substitute a person with a machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in the in the McDonald's, you see everyone ordering burgers on a machine, and therefore you need significantly less people working in McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You look at the cars. Right? Cars are now trying to go auto.
Mm-hmm.
Very soon, the moment. I mean, now it's still not not commercially available, but give it another 5 years. Definitely, there will be taxis on the road that is self-driven. Even the taxi driver's job is gone. Also, we can substitute a human with machine. So that's the S part. I'm not going to go through all seven, yeah, but just an
Mm-hmm.
example. The second one
Mm-hmm.
is C. C stands for combine. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
you see a lot of companies now combining forces. We call it M&A, like mergers and acquisition, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, Apple and Samsung, we all know they are competitors, but at the same time, they are actually friends. Behind the scene in the factory, they are borrowing a lot of things from each other. They even
Mm-hmm.
have equity stakeholding in each other. Yeah, so that is called combine or synergy, we call it, right? Which is
Mm-hmm.
why, I mean, we are both trainers. So in a way, we can treat each other as competitors. Say, oh, I don't want to talk to Marilyn. I don't want to support her competitor. I not be very right. In a new world, as a leader, I need to be creative. And being creative means I need to tap on resources all around me, including people in my own industry and
Mm-hmm.
including people outside my industry. So one example of outside my industry is insurance.
Mm-hmm.
For example, as trainers, as leaders, we don't really touch insurance. That's another industry. But well, I'm creative and I want to earn more money to provide for my three children. So I decided let's combine, right? Still on the scamper, let's
Mm-hmm.
combine coaching with
Mm-hmm.
insurance. And the whole thing exploded for the past 3 years. Yeah, so scamper is a very good creativity hack
Mm-hmm.
for leaders. If they are not born creative, if they are not educated in creativity, but at least they can use scamper in their business right now.
Mm-hmm. Wow, thank you so much for that simple hack. I mean, it's something that we need to search more for more details, right?
Yeah, yeah. Go and Google scamper.
Yes, and thank you for the examples as well. So, having said, you've defined what next normal is, what leadership is to you, and the experiences that you had in terms of this. So, what do you believe is the role of leadership and transformation in thriving in the next normal?
As a leader, the number one role is to facilitate
Mm-hmm.
and to inspire. So facilitate means the person cannot be the one giving direction. Right? The era is over. I cannot come in and say, hey, this is what we should do. Pum, 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 pum. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, you can do that. It is very autocratic. Yeah, but the team will not have any ownership. The team will just take your instructions and run. And then
Mm-hmm.
what happens if, touch wood, you fall sick? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you have a honeymoon? What happens if you want to take a medical to go for a 1 year silent retreat?
Mm-hmm.
Then your company, your team shuts down. Yeah, so you cannot be the person who constantly gives direction. You need to
Mm-hmm.
facilitate ideas among the
Mm-hmm.
team. Constantly
Mm-hmm.
facilitate. And number two, okay, facilitation is the logic part. That means
Mm-hmm.
logic, all the ideas need to come together. The heart is also very important. So we need to
Mm-hmm.
inspire, right? We need to inspire by coaching people, by mentoring people, by being involved in their family life, by asking them how they are emotionally,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of their mental wellness. Yeah, so a lot of leaders sometimes draw a very clean line between profession and personal, right? They
Mm-hmm.
feel that they should only involve themselves professionally but don't touch the personal. That's a very old school kind of leadership. Right now we need to involve ourselves, maybe like have group dates, maybe have group hiking where everyone bring their children along. By the way, Maryland, please join my weekend hikes as well. Yeah, bring our children along.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is called inspirational leadership, how to inspire the team so that
Mm-hmm.
everyone gives more than 100% to the team.
Great, great. Thank you for sharing. A leader has to be able to facilitate ideas and inspire their team. It's all about the heart and how you actually treat your employees or your team. Because a lot of times, I think it's about the vulnerability as well. Because a lot of us, I mean, most leaders, they don't really want to share how they really feel and how um they sometimes forget that they are human.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
And for them, a lot of times vulnerability is something, is a sign of weakness when, if for you to be able to inspire and facilitate ideas, you have to be, authentic, you have to be vulnerable yourself as a leader, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that goes to our next and last question, in fact. So, um, this is actually my Miss Universe question for you.
Okay. What is it? World
So,
peace, world peace. Yeah.
yeah. So, if you were to ask yourself a question that you can best answer, what would it be and why?
If I ask myself a question
Yes.
and best answer,
That
what
you
would it
can best answer. Yes. What would
what
it
would it
be
be?
and why?
Okay. I will ask myself, what is my full potential? What is my full potential as a leader, as a human being, as an entrepreneur? Eugene Seah, what is your full potential? And what level are you at right now? It's
Mhm.
like our phone. Our phone has a bar, and
Mhm.
then check our bar, 100% is the full potential. And what percentage is it right now? I think the problem with human beings is we have no bar, right? We should actually have
Not visible.
not visible. Yeah. If we have a bar on our forehead, it'll be very, very obvious. Then I can see like, hey, Marilyn, you have only achieved 10% of your full potential, right?
Mhm.
You can look at me and say, hey, Eugene, I see you only achieved 8% of your full potential. So I ask this to a lot of my clients, to my coaches, to the leaders. I say, imagine what is your full potential. Wow. And then they are stuck because a lot of them in their 40s, 50s, they think they have already achieved their full potential, They think that beyond this point is all downhill. That is like grossly untrue. I am 45 years old, 45, okay? And my answer is 10%. Right now,
Wow.
I'm at 10% of my full potential.
So there's more to go. There's more things to explore. There's more things to give.
A lot more. And how do I know? How do I know there's a lot more? I read books, I watch videos, I watch documentaries, I meet inspirational people. I volunteer in foundations, organizations, and then I see all these other leaders. They are the same age as me, some are younger than me, but wow, they already have multi-million dollar foundations to give to other countries. Some have
Mhm.
already built schools, some have already built orphanages, and I haven't built anything. So how can I say I don't even dare to say 10% sometimes. I feel maybe it's 0.1%. You know, And then you look at people like Bill Gates, who is maybe only about 25 years older than me, but wow, right? He's running a successful foundation. He retired from a very successful multi-billion dollar company, in fact, $1 trillion company, right?
Mhm.
Microsoft. And then you look at people like Elon Musk, who is putting people in space, right? So who has a self-driven vehicle that looks luxurious and sexy. The first in the world to achieve both feats. An electric car that actually looks luxurious.
Mhm.
So you look at people like that, then hey, wait a minute, I barely achieved 0.1%. But I want to be more fair to myself. 0.1%
Yes.
seems very uh very demotivational. Yeah. So I decided, okay, 10%. Yeah.
Okay.
How
I
about
mean,
you? How many
that's
percent is your
that's oh, maybe I'm also about 10% at this point in time. There's so much things to be done and there's so much people to be inspired. I mean, there's a
yes.
lot of a lot of work and contribution that I still can, create. I can still add more value to more people, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Eugene. And before we end this interview, please feel free to share if there's anything more that you'd like to add. And yes, do invite them on your upcoming session in our upcoming Global Leadership Summit next week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This era where we work from home, we need to learn as much as possible. Okay, the world is changing so fast. So I highly suggest all of us take out our calendar and write down, okay? Next week, which day to which day, Marilyn?
22 to the 26th of February. That's Monday to Friday, and it's going to be from 2 to 6 p.m.
Yes.
And all the questions, all the excuses, we've managed to answer those already. So for those who can't make it for the next 4 hours times 5 days, we'll
Mm,
be actually having recordings available for them.
right.
And we've even opened up like a 1 day pass for them, for those who are just interested or just specific to a topic, because each day would have a specific theme.
Mm, mm.
Mm.
Yeah, so please join us and learn as much as possible. Take notes, connect, synergize, network, and transform.
Yes. Thank you so much, Eugene, for taking time to have this interview. And I really appreciate all your insights. And I look forward to your talk, to your keynote next week on Tuesday, right? Tuesday
Yeah.
afternoon.
So remember, come and listen to anti-fragile mindset. Today, I have no chance to share about that. So
Mhm.
come my keynote, and I'll share what is the anti-fragile and how does it apply to your life and business.
Yes. Thank you so much, Eugene, and
Brennan.
see you
Yeah,
next
see you.
week.
See you. See you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.